Read number 12. Critique, critique, critique. In colloquial English, we tend to use the words critique and criticism to mean exclusively negative criticism, negative critique. But in not just the theater world, but in the arts world in general, and ritual is an art, let there be no doubt about it, and it is an art form. It's my most loved art form. In the arts world, critique means incisive commentary on how a piece works, on what doesn't work about it, and on how it gets the effects that it gets. We need criticism as an artist, as a ritual artist, which as a priest or priestess is exactly what you are. You cannot improve in your art. Any artist can tell you this. You cannot improve in your art without critique. Now, in the past, at large in the pagan community, it seems to me, we have tended to treat our rituals as something sacrosanct. In fact, I spent a number of years at a festival where it was delivered down from the organizers that rituals are sacred. They are not to be criticized as one would critique a play. If this is how we feel about things, then we might as well just hand in our athames and go home right now. To create ritual that will carry paganism into future centuries, we absolutely must talk and be willing to talk openly and honestly about what does and what doesn't work in our rituals. Here is a critique model that my friend Brunner Soderbergh designed, which I think is an absolutely brilliant model. One of the reasons why we don't critique, how many times after a ritual have you asked someone, has someone come up to you the day after a ritual and said, "Oh, nice ritual, enjoyed it very much." When someone says that to me, I almost invariably say, "Thanks very much, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Was there anything in particular that you liked about it?" And 12 times out of 13, what they will tell me is, "Oh, it made me feel good." Well, I'm glad that it made them feel good, but ritual can do so much more than that. We shouldn't aim so low. We need to learn the vocabulary of critique, and that is what the Brunner method of critique can offer us. So here's how it works. Sometime the day after a ritual, it should not be on the same day as the ritual itself, and it should definitely not be immediately after the ritual itself. The critique session is announced. We sit in a circle. Anyone who has been present at the ritual may speak, obviously. If you cannot critique a ritual that you haven't been at. There are two rounds, the Widdershins round and the Jeschel round. They can be in either order as the ritualist prefers. So, say we take the Jeschel round first, clockwise. Still speaking which, I warned you beforehand. Clockwise round, we go around the circle. Everyone who wishes to speak, no one has to, says one thing and only one thing that he or she liked about the ritual, that worked for him about the ritual, that was particularly memorable or effective about the ritual. We go around the circle, the ritualist speaks last. In the Widdershins round, the Jeschel round is for positive critique. The Widdershins round is for negative critique. In the Widdershins round, we go around the circle, and each person who wishes to speak may say one, but only one thing that he or she did not like about the ritual, that he or she found ineffective about the ritual, that he or she would prefer not to have happened in the ritual. However, and here we come to the heart of pagan social function, you may not present a negative comment unless you have some sort of suggestion about how it could have been improved. I wish we could insert this into every pagan's mindset. You have no right to offer public critique unless you are willing to offer a plan for public amelioration. If we stay with negative criticism and do not use it as a springboard into what does work, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. It's sort of that kind of bitchery will not take us into the future. It will only take us to each other's throats. Now, there are any number of things that I find absolutely brilliant and insightful about the structure of this critique method. One of them is that because people can only say one thing, either that they liked or that they didn't like about the ritual, you get to the heart of the matter. It makes people be more thoughtful and more considered in their responses, which of course is always a good thing. I'm not saying that it is easy to sit in public and hear people say bad things about the ritual that you may have put 100 hours of your time and hard work and sweat and untold amount and perhaps $100 of your own money into creating. I am not saying this is an easy thing. But the reason why Brunner has structured this in such a way that the ritualist does not respond, especially to the negative critiques, and in each case, when the ritualist speaks last. The reason why the ritualist does not respond, especially to the negative critiques, is because it is very difficult to hear your work criticized negatively in public, and the instinctive human response is to want to defend your decisions, to want to make excuses that explain to people why you did what you did. But this is not the place. The public critique session is not the place for that to happen. The price that we pay for the privilege of presenting ritual in public has to be willingness to hear public response to and about the rituals that we do. It is the only way that our rituals can possibly get better. Public action mandates public critique. This is basic, and we must accept it. If you are a ritualist, I guarantee you that your rituals will improve from hearing what didn't work about your rituals. Another thing, as people are going around the circle, either Wittishens or Jeschel, if the person before me says exactly what I was going to say, then I should say what I was going to say anyway. If the ritualist hears from 5 different people that they couldn't hear a word that was happening and they had no idea what was going on in the ritual because of it, then the ritualist will learn something important about the ritual. Critique is difficult. Learning how to do it is a craft that anyone can learn, but it takes work, and it takes study, and it takes love, and it takes commitment, and we cannot go into the future without it. Read number 12, Critique, Critique, Critique.